What's up? What's happening? Is another episode of Barracks Bunny podcast with your host, me, Chief 13 Bravo, or affectionately called the Big Chief. Hey, they call me Big Chief for a reason. You can always check the OnlyFans if you want to know why. It's interesting how I got that going as well. But we're gonna hop right into it. I'm currently talking about this road trip that I took across America. So I'm stopped in Las Cruces. I'm saying, hey, this is an adventure. I'm hanging out with Scylla. She is the ex-wife of my old battle that when I was in the army. And so I'm down there, and then I look her dead in the eye, and I'm like, hey, yo, Scylla, you want to do some coke and fuck? And she was all like, sure. And I was like, all right, well, shit. If I die tonight, I'm going out with a bang. Cause like I said, I ain't done coke since what year? What was the last year I did cocaine? Had to be about 2015 or 2016. No, had to. Uh, I can't remember when I had that seizure because I had coke and Xans too close together. Oh well, that's life. And so she was like, sure. And so I was a little bit nervous because she did have her gun, and I know she dealt with schizophrenia. And I was like, hey, yo, just don't shoot me, all right? And then so her paranoia was showing. Like she was like, hey, can you check here? Can you check here? Whatever. I'm like, all right, I'll check. Because when you're dealing with folks dealing with that, you just go in their world. You don't question that shit. And so, um, I didn't want to snort the coke, and so I just took, I just rubbed it against my gums and stuff like that. And then, we in the bed, and she put some, right down my thigh, licks it off of there, and she put some on my dick, lick it off of there, and then, so she proceeds to suck my dick, and then we fuck. And so I was all like, once again, this is an adventure. I did the whole, hey, you good? Because I ain't using a condom. And then also, I don't know, it was a turn on. The I was just thinking about how much of a turn on it was to be able to fuck the ex-wife of my old homeboy. And so trying to think, I'm thinking of something because we even conversation we had, I probably could have fucked her while they were married, but she was so in love with him, and there was that. I was like, the me now would have tried to have a threesome, but that's me now versus me then. But yeah, um, we did our thing, and we fucked again the next day, and then the day after that, I went ahead and I left for where'd I go next? Las Cruces to Vegas. And so went to Vegas. I don't gamble, and I wasn't drinking at the time. In Vegas, I felt like I would have had to be there with somebody with itinerary. So I was there. It was cool. I think I was there for Thanksgiving or some shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. So from Vegas, I stopped in Victorville, California. I have a cousin down in Victorville. I ain't been to Victorville since NTC, but went out there, hung with her for a couple days, and then from Victorville, I stopped in LA. I spent a month in LA. I was in LA longer than I thought I was supposed to be. I linked up with this chick Ashley that I think we met each other off of Twitter, like from my old Twitter addiction days, and we had kept in touch. And like if I go back, I think we sent each other some news around 2016 or something like that. She got some big old titties, light skinned black chick, cute chick. She do yoga and shit. Actually got her own yoga studio out there in L.A. in Inglewood. And so I get out there, and we link up, we have dinner at this pizza spot down in Chinatown, and she knew the dude that ran the spot, and so I didn't know the situation between the two of them. So it felt like more of like a cool hangout. And so the next day, I was like, "Hey, yo, you wanna if you got anything going on, you wanna go check out a movie or some shit?" She was, "Oh, I was actually thinking about no, I think she said I wanted to hang out, and then she said, "Hey, I think gonna go to the movies. We can go see Gladiator or Wicked." And I was like, "I ain't finna see no damn Wicked." So I was like, "Gladiator." So we went to the movies. Was that movie night? I can't remember. Basically, her and I was fucking while I was out in L.A. Out in L.A. L.A. was cool. I got some good weed. I caught feelings. I actually thought I was gonna try to stay with her. Like I got to her place. Oh, I can stay here or some shit. Um, but then I was like, I know she ain't finna live this life with me. She got her yoga studio, she needs security. She a tourist, all that stuff like that. And so I actually kind of had the being the emo dude I can be was like, hey, what are we doing? Talk, and then all that. I don't know. Fast forward. All right, let's keep it moving. So, but LA, I get it. I understand. Like it looks like Grand Theft Auto out there in the flesh. So end up going from there. Went down to I grabbed some shrooms from the dispensary, and then I went to Joshua Tree. Passed up because Sedona it was too pricey for my budget. So yeah, went down to Joshua Tree, did a bunch of shrooms, spent New Year's Eve there, just brought the new year in, just crying, gratitude, all that shit. And yeah, so from Joshua Tree, I knew I had to cross. I was gonna cross at Nogales. So to go to Nogales, had to come back east, stopped in Phoenix, linked back up with Scylla. She was down there. Nothing like that. We were just there. She was actually hanging out with this other black dude. I didn't know the situation between them, so I kept it cool. It was just good to see her. And then also I got tatted. Can you see it? I don't know. I can't tell right here. I got the Harry Potter scar up there, and then I got where's it at? Right there. Um, the five tally marks under my eye because there was this dude that was he was an artist, but he did a mass shooting, and I like the tattoo he had under his eye. So I was like, all right, man, I get the same thing. But yeah, no, yeah, old girl that did it. She Elzon, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She go by Tatted Up X on Instagram. So yeah, she tattooed me the day before I left. Drove south, crossed to Nogales, from Nogales to San Carlo to Los Mochis to Mazatlan. Actually, between San Carlo and Los Mochis, I got extorted by the cops. I'll talk about that more later. And then, yeah, Mazatlan to Puerto Vallarta. So there was that trip. All right, let's just go ahead and get to these fucking topics. Beards. Beards. How many of us have them? Beards. All right, beards are the hottest topic in the military right now, hotter than fish grease. All right. What's funny is I'm very active in Mill Talk. I actually was going to redo the podcast and call it Mill Talk. I actually had a whole episode for it, but I was like, you know what? Nah, we're gonna stick with Barracks Bunny because, as I said before on the first episode, hey, the experiences might be different, but the hoes be the same across all branches. All right. And so yeah, but I'm very active on Mill Talk. I got most of my followers by having triggering military takes. That's how I got to where I'm at on there, and I'm right at 14.1 thousand TikTok followers, and I've been stuck there for a while. And you know what? I kind of like being there because the bigger you are on social media, the harder you can fall. Shout out to Benny Ray. But beards. It's been a topic for a minute. So they just passed something with 670-1, basically cracking down on facial hair and just making sure, like, hey, we're gonna give you a treatment plan. Going to give you a treatment plan, and at the end of this, I think you get a year. But at the end of this treatment plan, you can either continue to shave even if you got razor bumps, or if you decide not to shave, then you got to get up out of Uncle Sam's army. And it's funny that on Mill Talk, a lot of black service members, because this, of course, it's disproportionately affects black men because, hey, sorry, like we can jump higher, run faster. We supposedly got the biggest hammers, but Uncle Sam got the biggest hammer. But we have this weak ass skin that bumps up because the coarse hair, and then it we get a lot of ingrowns and it causes bumps. Very sensitive skin. It's annoying, and so a lot of black service members are telling their stories. It sounds like the Me Too movement. I was joked on it once. I was like, "Hey, it's beard too." And I go ahead and go in and tell my history of razor bumps. Actually, before then, I remember my dad, because he served. He had razor bumps, and I remember my mom taking the tweezers and picking out his ingrown hairs. And so when I joined the army in 2005, October 12th, 2005 is when I reported to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is the home of the field artillery. And the first night, I shaved, and I used a single blade razor, and I'm shaving, and of course it's cutting my skin. I see the blood dripping in the sink, shit, drip, 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 all that. But yeah, that's when I started. That was my first started dealing with razor bumps. I think, and even did I start dealing with them in basic training? I can't remember. But all throughout my army career, I had razor bumps, and it was annoying. Like it just, the discoloration, the bumps, it just did the underside of my face looked like a Rice Krispie treat. Not Rice Krispie treat. What's the Crunch bars? Yeah, and but it didn't stop me from getting the hose, man. I still was fucking. I still was fucking. Um, but I used to try different things. Used to try. I was like, I used to hear things like, hey, if you do a quintuple blade razor, then that'll work. Cut it down. If you do this, if you apply cream, I tried the creams. I tried the different types of clipper. It was like a special clipper or whatever. And yeah, let's see. I didn't mind shaving in garrison, even with the bumps. Like I just didn't mind. Like I felt more professional. I felt more like a soldier. It's the whole uniformity thing. Um, and But it used to be like when going to the field, that shit sucked because it'd be cold. You had to put that cold water on your face, and you go here, the crackling, and just like it was very uncomfortable. Sometimes you shave with just the water, and it's just annoying. And then especially like being downrange in Iraq when I wasn't on the fob, like just being out at the JSS or the cop and all, just these places where it would be annoying to shave. And there were I think I might have had a shaving profile once while I was a private or E4 or something like that. Um, but it was nothing that I really, it was just something it was something you accepted. It was just something that this is what comes with being a black soldier in the army. Like this is what the game is the game. Like, do you really want to fight it? It wasn't even worth it. And then at the same time, it was Iraq. Iraq, Afghanistan. We had two wars going on. What the fuck I looked like bitching and moaning about my bitch ass fucking face skin getting razor bumps while motherfuckers they getting they heads blown off, legs blown off, motherfuckers is dying left and right and shit. Um, been tripping off those damn beards. Like, come on, get the fuck up out of here. I think that's why there's a lot of as I'm seeing like there. All right, there's oh man, let me finish my beard too story. And so also I tell people like, yo, do what your rank can handle. All right. Um, I got a shaving profile for once I made E6. I was like, all right, I'm going to the field. Fuck this shit. I went ahead and got me a shaving profile for the field specifically, just for that. That was it. You get dirty and just like trying to, just too much. And so that was it. That was it. But it wasn't, and of course, you get you better have your profile on you, Um, so, but once again, it was just something that you dealt with. You tried to do as much as you could to help yourself out, but it wasn't something that you were going to fight because you knew you weren't going to beat Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam got the biggest dick in the game. That Ben Green weenie, when that motherfucker turns you around, taps you on your shoulder, bends you over, and it's like, hey, you can get this thing with lube or without. It's up to you. And also, too, one of the greatest lessons I learned while I was in the army, I had a platoon sergeant, uh, Smoke Morris, man. Smoke Mo, shout out to him. He was like, hey, yo, you can have here's the short day, long day principle. You can have a short day and say, who drive on, or you can have a long day and argue and talk back and fight. And I was like, nah, I'm good. The army is stressful enough. Once again, the army is stressful enough. I'm sorry. Even then, I don't think I would have tried to lead the fight against um against forcing soldiers to shave if they've got razor bumps. Like I will shit. You got you got one or two options. You can either like take it, deal with it, or you can get the fuck up out of there. Like them are your two options. Same thing to like, hey, they used to say, hey, you could either if you don't like it, you can get promoted. I mean, you can get promoted. So hey, shout out to the ones fighting the good fight. Y'all, you got it. You got it. But it's gonna be funny watching how the responses are. Like, who's gonna punk out and go ahead and shave? Who are the ones that are going to stand on business, and who are the ones that are not going to stand on business? And I know I'm seeing like people talk about all this, all about race, and yes and no. Okay, all right. This is what comes with being black. Hey, you get razor bumps. The army just wants uniformity across the board. Take it or leave it. I know people are, the takes I'm also seeing is like, oh, what about the pedos? The ones that are taking the punani and the bunani. Um, what about people that don't can't pass weight and take? I'm like, hey, yo, the army does something about that. All right, they kick your ass out, or they got Leavenworth. They actually do something about it. So that take is like that. That it's just it's funny to hear it. I'm trying to think if I had something else when it comes to that. All I say though, yo, if you want to stand on business and be a civilian, just make sure your physical, is taken care of, your mental is all right, and your financial. Um, because pretty much getting out the army is like moving out your parents' house. All right, that's what it's like. Like, hey, living in mama's basement. If I got anything more about that, we'll check back in. But that's all I got. Like I said, I just wanted to tell my beer 2 story, and then just what I'm seeing from the outside. It's really like I'll make my jokes about it, here and there. Ha, poke the bear, get a few followers from it. But I don't give a fuck. I mean, I give enough of a fuck to talk about it, but not enough of a fuck to stress myself out about it. There we go. Like, I got shot at. Beards, 2 different things, Ooh. But all right, keeping it moving. Iran, Israel. Let me see. Do I got something about that? Not much. Iran ain't got nothing. Iran is not a threat. Iran is not a threat. They may be a threat to the Jew man, but they are not a threat to Americans. All right. I remember they pulled the whole weapons of mass destruction. Man, I got to Iraq, and I was like, what the fuck? All right, them people are. Iraq is 50 years behind. It's like being in a time warp. You go there. They do got modern cities like Baghdad. That's about it. But everything else is just nah, ain't it. Yeah, them countries are a threat to each other. That's about it. Like, we don't need to be worried about them. North Korea can barely even get a rocket off the ground. Even with other threats, Russia They got Russia got like they over there still dealing with Ukraine. What else? China, they got a lot of people, but when's the last time they fought somebody? Like when's the last time they fought? What else? Yeah, America. Well, I say we like I still live there, but America got this big old toy that it needs to play with. Spend so much money on it. You don't got universal health care. You're gonna be all right. All right, keeping it moving. A lot of another big thing that I'm seeing on the TikTokery is the combat versus non-combat vets. Like it's levels, man. It's levels, and if you in your feelings about like somebody talking about the fact that you didn't get shot at, like that's you and your insecurities. We'll just put it like that. All right, there are, and then you also have insecurities on the combat side because they feel like, I got to bring it up all the time. Oh, I went to combat, I went to this, I got shot at, I got this and that, and whatever. It's not that serious, man. I mean, if it's that serious, go ahead and get some help. Um, I got shot at twice. All right, and one of them times could have been some cook-off rounds because the truck behind me got hit by IED, and we just heard rounds, so I just like pop, 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 pop. But hey, it's just it's what comes with the veteran experience. Like we need something to argue about. But as I say, always say, like the beef should not be with each other. Our beef needs to be with the VA. Our beef needs to be with Uncle Sam. That's who our beef needs to be with, not with each other. But hey, but if you want to get in your feelings, like yo, we just gonna keep on making fun of your ass because hey, that's the trade off for you. Y'all, I don't know if people remember that song. It's on YouTube. It's a classic. I'm a fob. I'm a fob. Do what I want to do. I'll be jerking with jerkins while you catching insurgents. Like all that. Like you come back to the PX, all the everything gone. Like y'all, you getting all the air conditioning. You all fucking the fob hoes. Like yo, that's the trade off. All right, go ahead and take this. Like getting laughed at, made fun of. Like that's what you deal with. Like I when I came back from Iraq the first time. I went to WLC and all the infantry guys were making fun of me because I just had a cab. They were all like, oh, the combat action badge. They were like, oh, at the time, because I served before women were allowed in combat jobs. And they were like, oh, they handed out to anybody, even girls can get a combat action badge. And now I wish I can go back and be like, girls can get a combat infantry badge. Well, if we go to combat, so that, we need that. But yeah, get out your fucking feelings, dog. Like, yeah, if you're a non-combat person or whatever, just deal with it. Just take it. Laugh. Just laugh. Like, why are, why is your emotions being broken by a crazy motherfucker with either you got PTSD, got an alcohol addiction, a drug addiction, might be missing some limbs. Why are you letting that affect your day? Why? Like, let them have it. At least they not trying to hurt somebody, because I seen it. Like one of my partners, man. He saw way more than I did. And he just knee deep in his alcohol addiction. I got another partner, saw more than I did. He over there. He got to go back to rehab. And I got to talk him off the ledge a lot of times because he's all like, "Hey, yo, man. Every day I think about killing people," and I'm like, "Bro, you got you got daughters to live for." Like it's like that ain't what you. It's romanticized, that combat stuff. Well, one, there's like combat and there's war. Like war, them Ukrainian, Russian, that they in war. Combat was different, but either way, it's romanticized. But then it's all like there's levels. Like I said, I saw just enough to mess with me a little bit, but not too much to take me over the edge into the abyss. All right, which goes right into when you get out, there's a big identity crisis. Getting out of the military, such an identity crisis. Trying to figure out who the fuck you are outside of the military. I know I dealt with it for a while. I went to school, worked jobs, and finally I'm all like, hey, I'm an artist, all right, and it's cool. I still talk about the military stuff because it's part of who it's part of who I am, but it's not all that I am. I just got some cool ass stories to tell, and then also too, I want to be able to help other veterans, and then just the ones that come behind me as well, because it's not easy out here. It's not. at all. So as much help as I can do, I try to. Do I feel like talking about that? A lot of y'all are too dependent on Uncle Sam. My real quick take on that is, I would love. It would be cool if all you got after the military was 18 years of benefits. I think that's what it should be. Like, yo, here is like, cause you want us to take care of you for the rest of your life. You might have only served for like 7, 3, 4, 5, whatever. No, 18 years. All right, 18 years. You get 18 years worth of benefits. I calculated it at 100%. I would get like between 800 to maybe 9, almost a million. Yeah, 18 years. I'm who's do I need to write my congressman? Yes, I feel like at 18 years, cut our asses off because folks are just too dependent on that. Like we need to learn how to be independent. All right. Um, I might talk about that in a future episode. Where we at on time? All right, let's keep this. I want to keep this on about 30, 35. All right, psychedelic therapy. Okay, all right. It is way better than the traditional therapy they put you through all the drugs that they try to pump you up with. I did all that. What helped me a lot was the fact that I went to school, got my master's in social work with a concentration in clinical therapy. So I learned a lot of the tricks. But with that, when going to therapy, I was way more advanced than the therapist. I remember I had one therapist. She was nodding off. Maybe she was overworked or whatever, or I was moving too fast for her. And then when I moved back to Atlanta, I tried to link back up with the therapist that helped me before. And we were just talking, and she was just talking about I was like, "Damn, I'm paying you $100 an hour for this," because she was outside of. I was trying to get therapy outside the VA because I couldn't stand a VA therapist, and she was just telling me some basic shit. I was like, but when I'm going through initially starting, it was profound. But I was like, at that time, I was like, I ain't finna keep paying you for this. And then they had me on drugs. They had me on trazodone, uh, quantapine, aka Seroquel, tramadol. I think tramadol was for the back. I forgot, but like some of them jokers, they used to give me brain zaps, and then they don't tell you the importance of like weaning yourself, tapering yourself off. So I tried to kick the Seroquel cold turkey once, and it felt like I was kicking heroin. I never had heroin, but I heard about the withdrawal symptoms, and it sounded very similar. The nausea, the sweats, like it was just. And the trazodone, I remember I was throwing it up. It's straight up tasted like I was throwing up poison. And so I'm like, I'm trying to get off, the meds and stuff. And it's a fight with the VA because they're like, they want to keep you on there. And I had one psychiatrist, he used to piss me off talking to him. And because he would try to like insult my telling. He was, hey man, you a social worker. You know what you need to be doing. You know, motherfucker, I know what I need to be doing, but this struggle got a hold on me. And so, and I one day I told the supervisor, I was like, yo, I don't like this dude. Like, well, I don't like the way he operate. And it's funny, we had our last session, me and the psychiatrist. He was like, well, I'm retiring tomorrow. I was like, oh man, hey, congratulations, all that. He did not like that shit. You know, I told. I was all like, because I was trying to like first I was trying to talk to him man to man. Like, look, I don't like you talking to me like this and shit like that and whatever. But yeah, trying to force these meds on me. But I was after a long fight. I was like, hey, I want off. We taper my doses down. Got all the way off. Eventually, I still had like very minor withdrawal symptoms, but they weren't as bad as before. And yeah, got off those. Like I said, I did shrooms for a while. That helped a lot. Just dealing with depression. I had major, deep depression. And then came across, of course, did the psilocybin in Puerto Vallarta, or Yalapa actually. When I did that, I saw visions. I broke down, broke everything I've been told, been taught, broke all that shit down. Was in that white room with Morpheus, and then I came across. I heard about Bufo while I was in the States, but then they were charging like $300 some for a session. I was like, nah, I'm good. So once I got down to PV, I met this one young lady. I met her, I think, on Hinge, and she told me she had been doing Bufo. So she hooked me up with the medicine man. Linked up with him. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna talk more about psychedelic therapy because I need to go in detail about that shit a little bit more, but I got to get through because I'm trying to be done because I got a flight to catch tomorrow. And so, yeah, I've done Bufo 6 times. I've done ayahuasca once, and boy, life changing, life changing. That's all I'll say about that. So, if you got any questions, I'll just say what psychedelic therapy is better than what you're given. So, if you got questions, hit me up. You can hit me up in the show notes. Um, what else is there? What else is there? Oh, I'll tell a quick host story. Which host story do I want to tell from my army days? I do a twofer. I do a twofer. Um, so while I was in Germany, I was stationed in Vilsay, Germany. We would always go to Supersonics, which is a club of inviting. It was about a 20-minute ride, I think it was. And so there was these regulars there, and one of them was a war baby, and eventually, yeah, there was the war baby, and so I had my partner's car because he was on leave. Had his car, so went to the club. Still, I told the war baby, I was like, "Hey, yo, let's go outside, let's fuck." So I fucked her in my partner's car. Then I take her to somewhere else. I think either home or somewhere else. And then I'm like, shit, the night's still young. We went back to the club. I get back to the club. She shows up to the club. I was like, what the fuck? So there was that. There was this other war baby that I was messing with. Um, I think she was 17. She was in this crew of 17-year-olds that would come that, we'd party at Supersonics. And yeah, she was at Supersonics and I wanted to see her. And so I ended up borrowing the Jeep. It was our supply in headquarters. One of the supply sergeants, I was like, it was a white dude. I was like, hey, let me borrow your Jeep. Borrowed his Jeep. Didn't have the top on. So I picked her up and then she's getting me top while there's no like top on her. It's cold. And I was like, man, I don't want to wreck. So I stopped, pulled off to the side. She finished me off, and then we got back to the barracks, and then that was a time when I could snuck her into the barracks, and then I finished her out. Like I was smashing her, yeah, on the regular, before I went to Iraq. She actually thought I got her pregnant, but nah, had a vasectomy, homie. But I was like, hey, yo, it's your nerves or some shit. But yeah, the good old Barracks bunnies, man. But I think that's all I got for this episode. This has been another episode of the Barracks Bunny podcast. If you have a wild Barracks Bunny story, or if you are a Barracks Bunny, you know what? I want to hear from the old Barracks Bunnies. Like, I want to hear from all the Barracks Bunnies, all the hoes that used to run in and out. Because back in the day, we used to call them Barracks Rats. I want to hear from all of them, but I definitely want to hear, like, if you was in them barracks, like, in the 70s, tell me. Like the 70s, the 80s, hey, I want the one time before the internet. If you got some Barracks Bunny stories, go ahead and tell me. But yeah, once again, I also said if you got any questions about psychedelic therapy, hit me up. I look forward to when I can interview some other veterans or active duty service people so we can do, I don't have to do all the work myself. So once again, it's been great. Y'all be great. Peace.